Episode 1 of the Light Skins podcast. Welcome to the audience. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the podcast. This is the first episode of something that me and my co-hosts hopes can be long term. My name is Ryan. I'm one of two co-hosts on this thing. I'm now going to pass it over to my other co-hosts. Please introduce yourself, tell me your name, and tell us how we came up with the name of the channel.
Hello, my name is Bryant Valdez. And, I came up with this idea. We were thinking about names, me and my co-host Ryan Bevins. We were thinking about names we could think of a channel for this startup podcast / YouTube. So I was thinking about it. I was like, what's the one thing that can make us stand out?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, because I don't want to be like these other channels that have it's everything the same. So I want to stand out. I want to be unique.
Right.
So I was thinking to myself, back in high school, I used to have a curly hair. People used to mistake me by getting me be like I was mixed and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just say I'm mixed, and people thought I was light skinned. So I just went with it throughout. I went with it throughout high school and maybe after college. So then my other friend, my co-host Ryan Bevins, that man is actually light skins. Mm-hmm. So that's what makes this podcast so intriguing. That's how I came up with the name, the Light Skins.
Right. And we have the S at the end with the asterisks and the parentheses to hint at Bryant's quote-unquote light-skinnedness. He is an honorary fourth ball brother.
Yes.
But yeah, now I'm going to get into what the content of the podcast is going to be. Basically, we're two light-skinned niggas that like talking about hoops, and that's what it's going to be. We're going to talk about basketball throughout the season, the NBA. Big time games, big time news, all the speculation and whatnot throughout the season. We're going to talk about it all throughout this season and hopefully beyond. That pretty much sums it up. Welcome to the first episode, and without further ado, let's get into it. So for the first episode, pretty much we're going to go through the offseason. Got to start at the offseason. Everything that happened. Well, not everything, but all the notable happenings, the trades, the drama, whatnot. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about the actual season that's 2 days around the corner, right? 2 days from now?
Yeah, 2 days from now, Tuesday.
Right. We're going to talk about the upcoming season. We're going to give some predictions, award predictions, standing predictions, and some creative stuff that we came up with. Outside of just the traditional standings and awards. So let's start with the offseason. First of all, Brian, I need your opinion. Did you feel like this offseason, like sometimes I feel like the offseason goes by really quickly, and then other times I feel like it kind of like drags on. How did you feel about this offseason? Do you think it felt really long, or was it short?
It felt really long for me, with all the drama of the offseason with KD, Kyrie, and just like everything that went on, especially with them two. It was the main story of the NBA offseason for me, at least. What about for you?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of the same thing, because it was just like waiting when KD said he wanted to be traded. We were like waiting for like 2.5 weeks for something to happen, and nothing fucking happened. Listening to all like what teams were mentioned. Oh, they're gonna get KD. It was like the Suns. I think he sent me like the Celtics. Oh yeah, because they offered apparently they offered Jaylen Brown, right? Yeah. So it was like all that speculation. So yeah, that's really what drowned it on, I believe. And then I think when the big trades happened, that's kind of when it like started to pick up the pace a little bit for me, which we're gonna talk about. So I won't spoil it.
All right.
But speaking of the KD drama, we actually have to talk about it a little bit. So how do you feel about him, like what he did, like demanding the trade, going back on it? Like, give me your opinion on it.
I kind of felt it's hard because like I kind of see where KD was coming from. I felt like he was the only one that felt like he was the only one reliable to play. Like last year, Kyrie was out with his vaccination status, and then they brought him back halfway through the season, so he only played like half of the games out of an 82 season. And you got
Right.
James Harden, who played a quarter of the season, then he won out with the Nets. So it's just, I felt like KD just got tired of everything, and then he got tired of Steve Nash. You know, we heard about the news how he wanted Steve Nash and Sean Marks to go, which surprised me because Sean Marks was the one that gave him that contract extension for 4 years.
Right.
So, and then when he took it back, I mean, I wasn't surprised because I don't think the Nets were gonna let him go for less than another caliber superstar and some draft picks and some other good, solid players. So that's how I kind of felt about it. What about you?
I think I told you this at the time, but it kind of reminded me of when Kobe demanded a trade in 07.
Yeah.
Because I felt like when Kobe did that, he was more so just trying to egg on the Lakers to get an all-star around him. He had Lamar Odom and a bunch of guys, but he needed another co-star.
Chris Mim. Oh my god.
Oh, Chris Mim, Brian Cook.
Oh god.
That was a good old days.
So horrible.
But yeah, I feel because he demanded the trade, the Lakers didn't give it to him because you don't trade players of the caliber of KD and Kobe. Like if you have them on your team, it's not worth it. You're not going to get a package that is of their value. And Kobe demanding the trade led to them getting Pau Gasol, and we know how that story goes. So when KD demanded it, it kind of reminded me of what Kobe did, and I guess how he was trying to draw the Lakers' hand to entice them to do something. I don't really know if those were his intentions or not, but that was my first. The first thing it reminded me of.
Do you think he wanted to get traded, or do you think he was just trying to get? He was just trying to make some noise.
I like 75% think he just wanted to make some noise and get the front office to do something. But I mean, they didn't. I mean, they signed TJ Warren, who hasn't played in 2 years. We'll see how that goes.
They signed a lot of good players on the offseason. I'll give the Nets credit. They signed a lot of good quality players. That
drama aside, there's a couple more, like 2 more headlines we gotta talk about, and then we'll dive into the trades. We gotta start out with some. This isn't even really basketball. This is like some shit you'll see on Maury. The Ime Udoka stuff. The Ime Udoka, the city boy himself. God. Hoodville would be proud. So I'll just give my 2 cents on it. Like, this is a weird one because it was a team policy. You can't be screwing around in Boston, but not every team has that policy. So, like, I don't know. It's just a weird one to talk about. I don't know why you would risk like fucking around with just a medical chick?
Yeah, it was.
How is he getting around with that in like the middle of a playoff run? You go to the finals and.
No, I think this happened after the playoff run. I think it happened in July. Yeah, it happened in July.
Oh, I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, it happened after the finals.
I thought it was like throughout like the regular season and the play. Okay, well.
That's what makes it more strange.
Yeah.
It was in the off season. I don't get how what the.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but. How do you think that's going to impact the Celtics? Do you think that's
it's going to impact it's going to impact them heavily.
You think so?
You got a rookie head coach that's never been in that head coach position before. That's going to play in my problem big factor.
But you got to think about this. Ime Udoka was literally a rookie head coach last season.
That's a good point. But he was underneath Greg Popovich.
Yeah, that's true. He was
underneath him.
You're right about that, but I mean, that team, we'll dive more into the team once we get to the standings and stuff, but they're pretty much the same team. They got the same core, and I think they made some additions without. They didn't really give away anything to get the pieces that they got this offseason. So that's why I don't think the coaching thing will be too big. But like I said, we'll talk about that a little later.
Do you think he should have? What do you think the Celtics should do with him? Because they suspended him for a whole year, which kind of makes no sense to me.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was weird too.
How you feel about that? What do you think they should do with him, especially?
It's kind of like they're just trying to play it like safe, because they don't want to because he is a good coach. Like at the end of the day, even he did some fucked up shit, but putting that aside, he's a great coach. He's young. He's gonna be one of the best coaches in the league for the next decade. So I think them suspending him for a year is like an in-between of a punishment and not letting him go to another team or just being on the open market for another team to get him, you know? So I think they're just kind of just stalling, which kind of isn't fair to him because he should know if they're going to let him go so he can get on with his career. But yeah, that's how I felt about it.
Do you think they should fire him?
I
think they should.
Okay.
I think they gotta let him go. Let that man go, please. You know how awkward it is now. If he comes back next year, it's gonna bring up the issue again, and then it's gonna bring more attention to it, which the Celtics don't want. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? Yeah. They don't want to bring light back into that situation.
That's a fair point, but you know the phrase "time heals all wounds." Like maybe in a year, we'll forget about it, and the meme will be buried under a bunch of other memes that happened throughout the NBA season. You know, but
we'll see.
Last piece of drama, and then we can get into trades. God. Oh man, we had a UFC match, or not really. It was pretty one-sided. The Draymond Poole incident.
Oh goodness.
This is the one I've been looking forward to, like
me too.
Most. So you can shoot first on this. Tell me your thoughts.
What you want my thoughts on it, or what you think?
Yeah, just your thoughts. Just your thoughts in general.
Draymond Green, man. I don't even know what to say about this man no more. This man might be worse than Dennis Rodman. I'm not lying.
Okay.
No, I'm being serious, because Dennis Rodman never punched one of his teammates.
That's true. Well, actually, we don't know that. We don't know that. The 90s and the 2020s are two entirely different time frames. You don't really see anything back in the day. Like, we didn't see Jordan punch Curry. We just heard about that.
True. We had no video evidence.
Yeah.
But there was never any report about
But, I mean, I don't know if you can say Draymond is crazy or worse than Rodman.
It's up there because they're both they're both
menaces. There. I think Rodman is a Hall of Fame menace and Draymond's a gold.
That's valid.
But I mean, you're kind of right because this is kind of a recurring thing because he kind of drove KD out with some extracurricular shit outside of basketball.
And do you remember how he acted at Game 5 against the Grizzlies? How he just left the court like a crazy person?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Game 5.
I forgot, but I remember it during the series. That was a really bad look for him.
He looked like a fool.
Do you think that punch was fueled by the contract talk of Poole getting his extension, in which he got, I think, yesterday? Same thing with Wiggins.
Draymond said that he was dealing with personal stuff outside of basketball, but
yeah, he said that.
People are trying to make an argument that's okay to do, which I don't really understand. Like you don't punch your teammate no matter what, I don't care what's going on outside of your life. When it comes on to the court, this is like your family. You don't do that. And then I felt like someone leaked it on purpose from maybe the Warriors organization. Maybe someone wanted to get back at Draymond, or they wanted to show how he acts at practice.
Inside
So
job.
I think inside job. That's what there's been reports of too. It's just it was an inside person trying to show what Draymond is actually about. He's not. He's worse than people speculate.
You know, it took me a while to really form an opinion on this thing. I kind of had to scour around. So, you know, Shaq has a podcast, right?
Yeah.
I looked at his podcast, and the most recent episode was on the topic of this thing. And he was talking about how, he was talking about the cameras, and just because it got leaked, that was why the controversy happened. And he was talking about the fact that he said, these were the words he used. He said he touched people up a lot in his career. And he said that ended up making the team closer. And that happens a lot in the locker room, or it happened a lot in the locker room during his career. And there wasn't any problems because it never got leaked to the public.
True.
So that's a
good point.
That's a player's perspective. So that was kind of eye opening for me.
Let me ask you something. Do you think their relationship will ever be the same?
Oh, fuck no, not at all.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, put yourself in their shoes, but not even like in terms of basketball. Like, say you're a coworker at your job, you guys are frustrated at each other, and you're both on your break, and you're outside your workplace, and you're arguing, and then some random ass nigga is filming the argument, and he schlumps you, and you didn't expect him to schlump you, and the motherfucker posted it, it goes viral. Even if you guys are cool at that point, you got hypothetically speaking, just comparing it to the Draymond Poole thing.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of people see it on World Star Hip Hop. Like, your coworker, your friend at the time, just knocking you out. Like, no matter what is said, it's just a kind of like a stigma that's gonna be there forever because that shit's on the web. You know, I don't think
it's never gonna go away.
It's never gonna go away. Exactly.
That's the worst part.
That's why I would say it's not going to be the same. But at the same time, even though playing in the NBA was like the best job of all time, it is still a job. It's a business, so they can show up and be cordial and get the job done and, you know, play off of each other. They don't have to be buddy off the court. They can still show up on the same court and ball. But I don't know. Only time will tell, especially this offseason when Draymond's going to be on an expiring contract. So
yeah,
we'll see how the Warriors operate with that. All right. Now with the drama over, we can finally dive into the trades and the signings that happened. Mainly, we're doing the big time ones, obviously, like Bogdanovich or Kevin Huerter. We're not going to talk about those guys, even though they are some European snipers.
They're good players. Players, but
starting with Pat Bev to the Lakers. Not a star, but we know how notable Pat Bev is. Give me your thoughts on that one. Give me your thoughts.
It was an interesting trade to say the least. I mean, you gave up Taylor Horton-Tucker and Stanley Johnson. And I like Stanley Johnson. He actually gave the most effort last year defensively. He tried his best.
Right.
And then you lose THC. I know he struggled, but he's still a threat offensively. You know, he could still put the ball in the basket. So you do lose that too. I'd say it doesn't really move the needle for me with the Lakers. I mean, you got Pat Bev, who's more like he's not really a defender. He's more so just like a pass.
Yeah.
He's like someone that's he's gonna get into your head, talk trash, not do much, but he's gonna bring that energy that the Lakers need this season. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, a big thing for the Lakers last year was energy because that team was old as shit. Nobody would get back in the fast break. Melo had a good year from three, but if he bricked an outside shot, that motherfucker was not It took him so long to get back on defense. DeAndre Jordan, bro, like they were just so fucking old. They gave up so many transition points, and you kind of alleviate that with Pat Bev, who's going to give it his all on the defensive end. And like you said, Taylor Horton-Tucker, he's still only, I think he's our age, bro. I think he's only 22 years old, but
22, something like that.
His play style it's not really gonna fit with the Lakers right now when you have ball dominant guys like LeBron. You need as much floor spacing as possible, and Taylor, he couldn't really figure out. He couldn't get the outside shot going. Like he's a really good slasher. His mid range game was good, really good 2 years ago. But his outside shot was just not adequate enough, especially playing with LeBron, Russell Westbrook, and AD. And Pat Bev is kind of streaky, but he's more of a catch and shooter than Taylor Horton-Tucker has been thus far in his career. Exactly. So those are two reasons why I like the trade for him.
Pat Bev did shoot 35% from the three last season, which is pretty average for the NBA
that's
player.
League average. I'm pretty sure 35, 36.
That's not bad.
All right. Well, I mean, if you had to put a grade on it, what would you give it?
I say C.
C? I give it a B minus.
Just because the Lakers lost THC and Stanley Johnson, THC was like.
I think they gave up a second round pick too.
Oh man.
I think, I'm not sure. I have to fact check that later, but.
Yeah, you might have to check that, but I mean, yeah.
I'll give it a B minus. I think it's gonna work out for him. Next, we got Wood to the Mavericks.
Ooh.
I'll start out on this one. We'll just give our grades first and then explain. Yeah.
All right.
C minus.
C minus.
I'm not. You'll see. I'm not really high on the Mavericks this year, and I don't think
neither.
I don't think this trade is gonna make him much better. Like Wood is, he could get 20 and 10 with the Rockets, but I don't really see him being the piece next to Luka to get them to the next tier in the Western Conference where you think that they could definitively like compete for a championship or even a conference championship, I don't think he's that guy for him. Like, I would have much rather kept Brunson and not even traded for Wood.
Well, you couldn't keep Brunson because the Mavs weren't going to pay him a max contract.
I would have. Oh, actually, yeah, that's true. I don't think I wouldn't give Brunson a max contract, but I guess they made the most of what they could do. But I don't know, man. I'm not the biggest Christian Wood guy, and like they literally just had a floor spacing center in Kristaps Porzingis, and that team had a ceiling.
But he had an ego though.
Yeah, that's true.
Porzingis, he had an ego because he was coming off, from the Knicks, right? I'm thinking correctly. Yeah, so I mean, he was a star with the Knicks. So he's coming in thinking he's gonna be the second star, but it's more so just Luka, just like a one man show, and he wasn't used to that.
Okay. My only rebuttal is, where do you think the Mavericks? Okay. Actually, I can't even say that because we're gonna spoil the video. Gonna spoil it. We're just gonna have to agree to disagree on this one. We'll move on. We got Grant to the Blazers. Give me your thoughts on that.
I like this trade for Portland. I like it a lot actually. You're talking about a second scoring option behind Dame. He was averaging 20 with the Pistons last season, almost 20. Yep. Now, will it be enough to put them in the playoffs? Maybe not, just because how competitive the West is. But maybe the play-in, You never. But it's a good trade in my opinion. I give it a solid B. What about you? Oh no.
Give it a C plus. I give it a C plus, man.
All right.
It's like I get it. At least the Blazers are showing an effort to build around Dame.
They're trying.
Like, that's commendable, but it's not enough, bro. I mean, we'll see if Anthony Simons can take the next step. He was good last year because Dame was injured, and then CJ got traded, so Anthony got a lot of playing time, and he was averaging close to 20. Josh Hart, actually, when he got traded to the Blazers, he was balling out too. But I just don't think it's enough, man. Like you said, the West is crazy stacked.
It's really
crazy.
Good this year.
I'm checking the time. We're gonna have to skip a couple of these trades. Okay, or just go quick. Brunson to the Knicks. Give me your grade.
C minus.
Same. We don't even have to talk about that.
All right, good.
Overpay and a half.
Yeah.
Brogdon to the Celtics.
A B. I give it a B. No.
I give it a B. I give it a B plus.
Yeah, I give it a B.
Because they gave up Aaron Nesmith, who's been a bust. I'm not a bust, but underperformed.
Yeah.
He wasn't even in their rotation. And they gave up Daniel Tyson, a second-round pick.
Daniel Tyson
for
plays
Brogdon.
his role pretty well, but I mean,
yeah,
I get you.
Of course,
I get you where you coming from.
But at the end of the day, Daniel Tyson is the 9th man in the rotation.
Yeah.
So, and we know what Brogdon can do. He's going to provide the playmaking, and that's exactly what Boston needed in the finals, playmaking.
He does average 6. He averaged 6 assists last season, which is pretty good.
Yeah, he's a high IQ player. He's not ball dominant.
Smart.
I think he's just gonna fit right in and provide what the Celtics need. Next, we got my guy DeJounte to the Hawks. Grade it.
I want to give it an A. I want to give it an A, but I'm gonna give it a B plus, just because I have some question marks.
I give it a B minus, bro.
Wow, I'm shocked by that.
They gave. Remember how many picks they gave?
3
up?
first-round picks.
I think it was more. I think it was 3 first and then like some pick swaps.
3.
I think it was 5 in total. Or no, it couldn't have been 5 because how was the Gobert? It was probably 3.
Because they gave up Gallinari as well.
Let me do a quick Google. In the meantime, tell me your grade on the Gobert and Mitchell trades, or just tell me your thoughts on it. You don't even have to give me a grade. Tell me your thoughts. Minnesota
overvalued Rudy Gobert with that absurd amount of picks.
Yeah.
I mean, they traded for Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverly.
They gave up a lot of players too. I forgot.
Walker Kessler, Jared Vanderbilt, he's a young, promising player.
He's a really good defender.
He is, and a total of 4 first-round picks.
Yeah, that was desperate as fuck. I give him. That's a tough one. I'm gonna say C.
C, yeah.
Also because I don't really think that big man tandem is gonna work. And
defensively, I think paint defense for at least Minnesota is gonna be decent, solid.
It should, but the only question I have is Cat on the perimeter. He's gonna have to guard on the perimeter a lot.
I have the same concerns as you. I wrote the same exact thing on my notes.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna get exploited out there. D'Lo,
yes.
D'Lo's already.
He can't play defense.
Yeah, he's below average. Anthony Edwards, I think he has potential on the defensive end just because he's so athletic. So I think he can develop on that end. And then they got Jaden McDaniels, who's kind of similar to Vanderbilt, lengthy wing, pretty versatile on defense. So, but yeah, Cat on the perimeter, it's kind of
it's a no-go for me.
He might get exposed. Last transaction type thing to talk about, the Poole and Wiggins extensions that just happened yesterday or 2 days ago, I forget, but we don't have to grade these, just spew out your thoughts. Yeah.
Well, for the Poole deal, I was kind of surprised it came this soon, just because I thought they were going to do it at the end of the season, but I kind of see where the Warriors were coming from. Mm-hmm. They don't want to. They want Jordan Poole, and if they didn't re-sign him now, then there's going to be controversy at the end, especially if you have Draymond and Wiggins that you still haven't signed at that moment. Right. So I felt like they were kind of forced at that moment to re-sign him to show how much they actually appreciate him. Kind of not let it linger like the KD situation.
Yeah.
You kind of get me?
Yeah, I definitely feel you. When I got the alert, or I don't know if I saw it as an alert or just an Instagram post, I was like, damn. I was also expecting to hear this, like, not even thinking about an extension until later. like after the season. But yeah, the Warriors definitely wanted him. He's gonna be a sixth man, but Poole could definitely be a starter on like so many teams. He's definitely a starter caliber. He still has some untapped potential, and he's gonna be one of their guys for the future. So they had to lock him up. And the Wiggins one too. I think he actually. They said he took a pay cut because Poole's was like 130 over 4 years. Wiggins was like 100.
No, it was 123 for Jordan Poole. 123.
Oh, 123.
Yeah.
And then Wiggins was like 104 or something. So he took a pay cut. That team is fucking expensive as shit. But I guess it's cool to see like an owner that's willing to to spend money, because we've seen in the past the Thunder owner didn't want to keep together the big three of Harden and Westbrook and KD because he got cheap. So I guess it's good to see an owner willing to spend to.
I think the Warriors they went over a luxury tax. I think they're like $400 million right now.
Oh yeah.
It's some absurd number. It's absurd.
I saw that shit, but hey, that just shows the owner. I think his name is Joe Lacob.
Yeah, Joe Lacob. Yep.
He wants more rings. That's what he's prioritizing.
Oh wait, question. What were your? We never went over the Cavs trade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah. Best trade of the offseason.
Agreed.
I'll give it a solid A.
Agreed.
I think, bro, the Cavs are gonna be tough, man. They're gonna be tough.
They're tough out. I'll tell you that much.
They're gonna be tough this year, but then going forward, Garland continues to develop with Mobley. Oh man, that team's gonna be nice, bro.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't they re-sign Jared Allen too? I think
he's on a long-term contract now.
Dude, they're good. They're gonna be nice for the next couple of years, dude. They're gonna be really nice. And you got Ricky Rubio coming back from his ACL injury.
That's big. Rubio was really good.
Nice.
Kevin Love was actually really good too. Their bench is gonna be fire. I think they're gonna have LeVert off the bench too, unless they're gonna start him. I don't know if they're gonna start him or Okoro, but I view LeVert more as a sixth man. I think that's his best role. So like the starting five's already fire, and then you have a bench of Rubio, Love, LeVert. Cedi Osman's nice too.
Isaac Okoro.
I feel like they're gonna start him just so they have more of a defender on the perimeter, because that's kind of what he came into the league. But we'll see what they do. But yeah, definitely best trade of the offseason for them.